When the world forgets the shape of the divine, reality bends. Yet, memory persists in the blood. When the world repeats, but you do not. This is the first fracture. The world repeats the motion, but the eye begins to see the seam. The void persists.
The anchor holds the timeline in a loop. Their perception has failed to grasp the repetition. Only one sees the fracture in the void.
When the world does not break, the mind must. They remain whole, yet his perception is shattered.
The subject does not receive new information. The subject begins to notice his own failure to match the system.
When the world does not move, the mind seeks fracture. What is seen is not real, yet it persists. They see only the room, the fire. But he sees the contradiction. And once seen, it cannot be unseen. The system shows a void, but he sees the loop. Where does the reality truly exist? This is not the pattern. The eye has found the shadow.
The void is stable, yet the mind fractures. He sees the shape, but the others see only the air where it stands.
I see the form, clear as the flame. But their eyes register only the absence. The contradiction is absolute. He stands before them, and they are blind. This burden is now yours alone. Go on, tell them what you see. They won't believe you. You're losing your mind.
They see a hearth, a home. I see the fracture point, the first perception of the end.
The shape is known, but the meaning is lost. The weave unravels in the dark between the flames. Reality holds, but the perception has failed. The distance cannot be measured. The void holds what the eye perceives. Touch confirms the fracture. The wolf knows this stillness. If your hand cannot prove it, then what did you touch?
The eyes report what the hands deny. Yet, the mind accepts the vision. The confirmation is irrelevant.
If your hand moves, but you cannot trust it moved, then who moved it? If you cannot feel yourself, then what is left to trust?
The action is happening now, but also happened before.
Memory confirmation fails.
The knife carves the wood, but the notch is already there.
Is this the moment? Or the shadow of the moment before? The wolf is real. I know it is real. But if I am the only one who sees it, how—
The subject cannot determine whether perception originates from himself or from the perceived presence. The boundary between observer and observed dissolves.
You no longer see it, but you know it is looking. Perception is a prison. Reality is a fragile thing. What the mind accepts, the body obeys. The void holds the truth prisoner. Yet, the blood still knows how to fear. The body moves, but the world does not acknowledge it. The self is fractured. The subject believes time is moving, but the world remains still. This is the first fracture. The world has stopped, but we continue. Do you see the fracture now?
Reality is a shared breath. When you stop breathing it with them, the world stills.
The body is here, seated by the flame. But the presence, the continuous thread, is gone. I am here. They see me. The self dissolves not into darkness, but into the vision itself. There is no other. The void accepts the input. What is seen is no longer real. The system is unstable. The void accumulates. You see the fracture, but the stone is whole.
The void remains. The perception fractures. Yet, the moment holds. We are caught in the loop of what is seen.
The center holds, but the edges blur. This is not the end, only the strain before it. It ended, without ending. Stabilized. The loop holds, but the anomaly is not gone. It is merely hidden within you. He looks again, not to see, but to confirm what cannot be trusted. The world is stable. Their sight is true. But the eye can be taught to see what is not there, and what is. If it answers nothing, then nothing can be trusted. The loop is broken only when the eye accepts what the mind rejects. The world remains as it always was, yet the seam has been broken. The loop is perfect, but the eye perceives the flaw. A delay of the smallest measure. Reality remains unchanged. But the perception can be amplified. The world is stable, yet the mind perceives fracture. One mind bends, the other remained unbroken. The grasp extends, but cannot hold the water's flow. Localized control persists, but the second target remains stable. The fracture is contained. The loop is absolute. They do not see the seam. I must learn the weight of this new sight.
The temporal lock is absolute. Yet within the stable field, a localized pattern emerges. It repeats.
The world remains whole, yet the moment stretches. This is the first perception. The center holds, though the timeline fractures at the edge. Maximum control achieved. He perceives the seam, yet the fabric does not tear. The anchor holds. The others remain blind. This reality holds firm. My perception is the only variable left to control. The system accepts the change. Their eyes deny it. Everything is stable. The room, the fire, the men. But the mind perceives the loop. The fracture is internal. The reality holds. The perception fractured, but the anchor remains locked. What is real if the eye can see the seam? The loop begins. The world remains, but the fire shifts. They do not see the coupling, only the awareness. The fire repeats its breath. A localized failure in the timeline. The first perception. Tension is the anchor. The flame obeys the eye, not the air. This is the first principle of the system. When the eye turns away, does the world cease to be? No. It simply waits. The world remains as it was built. We are taught it is solid. But the input shifts. The subject is aware. The collapse was contained. Now, the choice. Engage the anomaly, or withdraw. Look closely at the fire. It stutters. A localized delay. The world responds to your attention. They do not see what holds them. The loop is stable, but the fracture remains within the observer. The eye turns away, and the world holds firm. What is unseen cannot break what is real.